Well, we talked about Eminem a little bit earlier, and one of the things that came up in one of my Lord Jamar interviews was the debate over the king of hip hop.
Eminem supposed to be the greatest rapper ever.
Well, Eminem has sold 150 million albums. Jay Z has sold 100 million albums. There is an argument for Eminem being the king of hip hop. There's also an argument for Jay Z being the king of hip hop. What's your take on it?
I don't even think either one of them the king of hip hop, to be honest. I feel like you can't really have a king of hip hop because you can just, if you really think about it, if you have to ask me about Jay Z, I feel like Jay Z is the biggest flexer of all time. I feel like nobody else in music has sustained a career longer off of blatant flexing than anybody else. Almost every Jay Z song has to do with him stunting on you. Almost all of them. Like, in levels. Like, even if you go back to old Jay Z songs where you're talking about Hublots and Hermes, old shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, Montclair shit, like, he been flexing for years. And it's just the more he grow, the more he flex. You don't start seeing, like, social struggle Jay Z until, yay. Now we got a little bit of social struggle Jay Z, but Jay Z trying to shy from that. Eminem, I would feel like is the original anarchist rapper. You know what I'm saying? Eminem was complete counterculture. I do pills, I do drugs, I got a crazy ass crew and we all retarded. I rap, I got anger problems, I do weird shit, I make suicide videos. I'm gonna make a whole video about a murder. He was pushing the boundaries because he knew he himself was a boundary that was pushed. It was supposed to be a white rapper, a pale-ass white rapper with bleach blonde hair from Detroit that everybody was fucking with without issue. Nobody had no issue with Eminem. To this day, nobody still do. It's just until you call him the king of rap, and then everybody's like, oh, he's a white guy, he can't be the king of rap. And the white guy thing isn't why he's the king of rap to me. I just feel like there are other rappers who people enjoy more, even without more recognition. There's other rappers who do it more dumbed down and people still fuck with it more than anything. You know what I'm saying? I feel like if you put them two at, I don't even feel like you can do king of rap based off records sold. Because records sold is just good marketing and plus the times, plus, you know what I'm saying? That was a different music industry. Completely different than what it is now. So you can't tell me that somebody who come along now who sells less records than Eminem ever will is not better than him. Not true. Same with Jay Z. Not true. It's a different environment.
Well, speaking about music and hip hop, and you talked about how Eminem kind of came from like the first anarchist rapper and stuff like that.
Right.
You actually came from a hardcore band originally, right?
Right.
Do you think that there's not enough of that, in hip hop, like in terms of the genres kind of blending?
Yeah, that's because of a disparity in black people to do more than nigga shit. We just want to be the realest nigga. I'm a real nigga. I'm a real nigga. I'm a street nigga, dog. That's it. If it ain't that, we ain't trying to do more. And if we can't reach that, we'll take that. But that don't get you a Grammy. You know what I'm saying? That don't get you on the Sprite commercial. That don't get you in the Barclays in Europe. That don't get messy on your commercial. Just being the realest nigga. It also doesn't get you a fulfilled life because you're only listening to this one viewpoint of how shit could be. When you could be listening to a million. I personally don't like country. Love Johnny Cash, though. Arguably not country. Love some Johnny Cash, though. Love some Celine Dion. You know what I'm saying? I fuck with Phil Collins. I'm fucking with Michael Bolton. I don't really like jazz like that. I was in a jazz band. It's not about, and that's the same thing that extend over into life. Black people live in some of the most uncomfortable environments and make that comfortable, but won't listen to some uncomfortable music and make it comfortable. And that's our downfall. That's why it'd be harder for us to expand. And that's why it's so easy to get these white artists and these Asian artists and these Indian artists and the random Mexican guy, whoever, and just put them in a role that could be easily filled by somebody. Look at Rory. Rory is by far an amazing example of genre blending. He's making amazing music. It's music. What genre do you call Rory?
Well, you know something? It's interesting that you mentioned Johnny Cash, because I was actually thinking about him, you know, while you were talking, because if you take a Johnny Cash and if he makes a song about some gangster shit, about shooting a man, about robbing a bank, about beating someone up, none of his fans really care whether that was true or not. They just appreciate it for the art.
Right.
But if a rapper talk about
gotta
shooting
do
somebody
it.
or selling some drugs,
he got to do it. It got to be done. No other genre
like-
of music do people focus on the dichotomy. No other words. No other genre in music do people care about syntax. No other. We supposed to be the dumbest people ever, but in all the music we make, everything has to be legitimately grammatically sound. If it's not, they got whole Twitters based off of how dumb, the worst rap lyrics ever. But I can tell you 80 pop songs that mean nothing. They mean nothing. Words don't even make sense. Sentences don't even make sense. No one gives a fuck. They going for it. Like I said, that's our downfall. That's what black people are doing to ourselves. Nobody doing that to us. We doing that to ourselves.
I mean, do you think that there's going to be a point? I forgot who I was talking to. I think it was Chris Webby. And we were talking about how at the time that we did the interview, when you looked on the rap charts, like 6 or 7 out of the 10 people on the charts were white artists.
Yeah.
You know, we just talked about how rock and roll originally used to be just black music. Now, when you find a black rock and roll artist, it's like, oh shit. Like, you actually have to say a black rock and roll artist,
right?
Because it's so uncommon. Do you think that it's going to be uncommon at one point to say, oh, he's a black rapper?
Yeah. I mean, if all goes well, you stop saying color anyway. You just say he's a rapper. He's a rock and roll artist. She does pop. You know, that's in a perfect world, we all appreciate where we come from, but that is not the basis on which you judge the material that is being outputted. No one cares, because I'm not saying your cameraman's a mixed cameraman. I'm not saying you're a white interviewer. You know what I'm saying? We're not going there. No one's really going there when it comes to all these other, but once you get some form of it's supposed to be status to it, now we have to apply black. There's an Asian rapper. There's a Korean rapper. Da da da. Just be a fucking rapper. You know what I'm saying? Just be a rock and roll star. But that's probably way after I'm dead, so whatever.
What about the chances of a G-Unit, Dipset, and Lox tour? That would be epic. But so is Beyonce and Jay Z.
I like that. I like you.
I'm not coming to you asking you for no crazy amount of money, which I know if we open up the books, it's there. You know what I'm saying? I'm basically calling you and be like, man, look, you need to give me something, because you owe me.